Relocating or visiting a new country generally just exposes you to a new way of life and the culture of the people there, which can sometimes be quite different from what you're used to. Some of them are shocking, while others are just subtle. Wow, this is new. Not everything was a big deal, but there's some differences that I noticed and had to get used to when I got here, and I just want to share a bit of them in this video. Number one on that list, I'm going to start here because this one was quite interesting to me. Right. I had a few people, not many people, but a few times, people were surprised to hear me speak good English. And it's not just white people. So they weren't being racist. But I realized even a black person, there was a time there was a black Uber driver that took me, and just conversing with him, he was like, "Oh, how long have you been in the UK? Your English is good." And he wasn't the first person asking me that question. So I'm like, I speak English where I come from. I just moved because at that time it was still 2023 or 2024. So but it was just interesting because I had to understand not everybody speaks English. Not every country has English as their first language. Some people don't know countries. Some people don't know which one is an African country and which one isn't. I'm not kidding. I've spoken to people and so sometimes just give people the benefit of doubt because they really just don't know. So that's number one. Number two, this one I've refused to accept till today until tomorrow. They call lunch dinner and they call dinner tea. Lunch is lunch. Dinner is dinner. Why are you swapping it? I'm not kidding. So when they say, "Oh, have you had your dinner?" They're asking about lunch. Oh, that's what they're asking about. And I'm like, oh my God, wow. So I didn't know this could happen. In fact, I'm even going to Google. I feel like I've searched it before, but I don't remember because I had to Google it. I'm like, okay, what is lunch? Is this a British thing, or does lunch have more than one meaning generally globally? Or are they just wrong? I actually had to Google that. But yeah, they call lunch dinner and they call dinner tea. So what you would call dinner, oh, I'm having my dinner. They'll say, oh, what are you having for tea? Yeah. Yeah. And that is also proof that you can be using the same words and meaning different things. Another example of this is aftershave. So someone said, I need to get aftershave. And I was so confused because the context with which we were conversing, it wasn't, I was a bit confused because it didn't enter into the conversation. Like, what does aftershave have to do with this? But apparently, aftershave also means male perfume. So when somebody says aftershave, they don't just mean what men use in shaving, they mean perfume, which you wouldn't know because in your head, you're just like, aftershave means XYZ. What does she mean? It's just interesting because, like I said, you can be using the same word or the same words and be conversing with somebody, but those words mean different things to both of you. When you're saying buy me aftershave, they are hearing buy me perfume. And that was new to me because I actually never, ever knew that aftershave had another meaning aside aftershave, shaving. Yeah, but yeah, that's that. Another one is that most times I notice that when they want to say 6:30, they don't say 6:30, they say half six. They don't say 6:45, they say quarter to seven. Now I'm not saying they don't say it. I'm just saying like in day-to-day conversations, most of the people that I've conversed with, like at work, colleagues, customers, patients, generally, the go-to way of referring to 6:30 is not by saying 6:30. You say, oh, am I okay to come quarter to? Can I come half six? She's coming half past. And I'm like, wow, because personally I prefer 6:30 and maybe just conversing with my family. I'm used to 6:30, 6:15, 6:25, but they're just like, oh, half past, quarter to, quarter past. Yeah. And I felt like that was interesting to because I noticed it, and for me to notice it, it means there was actually a difference between how I, was used to referring to the time and how they did. But yeah, I mean, any one of them is correct. I'm just saying which I was used to hearing and used to saying. Another thing is that I call, just being trash. I call it trash. I say, oh, where do I put the trash? Where are we throwing the trash? Where are we taking the trash to? But most times they say rubbish. And they say, oh, pack out the rubbish, or I'll just take the rubbish out, or I'll just take the rubbish, gather the rubbish. In my head, rubbish is not actually rubbish. Like when you say rubbish, it's like rubbish. It's like rubbish. Not, I don't use rubbish as an actual meaning of something in a sentence. I don't know if you get what I mean. But yeah, but to see that they refer to, instead of trash, they'll say, oh, take out the rubbish. I'm just like, oh, I mean, like I said, it's correct, but like it's trash now. Rubbish, I don't ever use rubbish to mean like Google rubbish. What does rubbish mean? And then say, oh, this is rubbish, and I'm taking the rubbish out and putting the rubbish. I don't ever use rubbish to refer to trash. I use rubbish to refer to rubbish. Yeah. This one, I realized, well, I didn't really realize, but it was one time I was in an Uber and I was on the phone and I was saying, oh, I'm in a cab. I don't even know where I got cab from. I feel like this is Kere's influence, to be very honest. But I was used to saying cab. I got used to saying cab when I'm in a cab. And the driver was like, oh, are you from Liverpool? I can't remember. I think it was Liverpool, he said. I don't know if that was the city. He said, because on the phone, instead of saying taxi, you said cab. Like they don't typically say cab. Like somebody, I don't know, he said a typical British person would say, I'm in an Uber or I'm in a taxi, but you said cab. So he was the one that said it to me and pointed it out, and I was like, okay. Because I mean, I can say Uber. I think I say Uber, but I'm more likely to say cab than I am to say taxi. So still on, well, this one is not a culture difference or culture shock, but I mean, paying for things weekly is cheaper than paying for them daily, and paying for them monthly is cheaper than paying for them weekly, and paying for them annually is cheaper than paying for them weekly or any other way. I think this is a general life rule, to be fair, because even like your subscriptions that you do is generally the same. If you calculate the cost of paying for a year of that subscription, and you calculated how much we're going to pay every month for 12 months, the annual price fee will most probably be cheaper because they want to get you to pay that instead. So it makes sense. But that's basically how things run here for the bus passes, tram passes, train, no train pass, sorry, scratch that. But yeah, if you wanted to pay for something, it pays you to pay for it monthly, weekly, as opposed to daily. Finally, this one is a workplace realization. I don't know if it's just my workplace, but I've conversed with people and I realized it's not just my workplace, bruh. There is no level of questioning that they cannot ask you. Oh, where do you stay? Where do you live? Where are you going for the holidays? Do you have a boyfriend? Where does he stay? These people are really asking me questions. And it's not because, like, they just really share. Like, they're just, like, they will tell you about their own as well. Like, if you stay in a workplace 2 weeks, you will know about this woman, her husband, her children, her sons. And then it's just really funny because where I'm coming from, like, you cannot say your address now. I feel like we protect information. I don't know. But it was just new to me that somebody would say, there was a time somebody was like, oh, where do you stay? I said, I stay in the city center. She was like, oh, where? I'm like, I don't understand. Am I supposed to tell you my postcode and my house number and my room number? Is that what you want to know? I don't understand. Speaking about workplace, small talk, you have to get used to small talk. I feel like people don't want to, like, if you're sitting beside somebody, they don't want to be sitting and be looking at you. It's awkward for them. They want to make sure that they ask you something or you talk about something. Sometimes I'm just like, well, on break. Let's all be quiet. Let's all be silent. This is a time to rest. You don't have to talk to me. But I think you're going to get used to small talk. Oh, how's the weather? Oh, what do you like about? Yeah, small talk is a thing. I think it's a thing everywhere. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting used to it. But yeah, if I think of any, I'll do another video. Let me know which shocked you the most. And you can share your discoveries with me as well if you've been in the UK or you've relocated to any country and you had to adjust to certain things. Let me know in the comment section. I'll be reading from you. Remember to like this video, share, and subscribe. Peace.